And you don't even use half of them, and now you're just rotating guys in and out to feud with Neville. And that's it.
Yeah, but each match is 4 minutes long.
Yeah, there's no point to
you
it.
You have 6 of 18, 200 minutes of TV, and you put 4 minutes of the Cruiserweights every single week. The same. It's terrible. I think the booking is atrocious. You should have done what Nitro did years ago, and you had the first hour kick off. You know, the way Nitro used to do it, like the first hour was like the Cruiserweight matches, and they were hot. You know, they would get 10, 12, 15 minutes, and they would pop the crowd, and it wouldn't be a missed TV segment every single week.
They don't let guys wrestle different styles. That's part of the thing. So like when Nitro had, you know, the Cruiserweights, they let them wrestle their own style. So they had a lot of guys like the Lucha Libre guys, like whether it was Mysterio and Guerrero, guys like Malenko and Jericho and all these guys. They could work, you know, La Parka, right, Psychosis. I'm trying, all these guys. I'm probably forgetting a bunch, but
Mysterio, Guerrero, Benoit.
These guys are. They could work their own stuff. So they let them go out and do things. It was different, right? You'd watch Nitro for 3 hours, whatever it would turn into, but like. You could watch and there'd be different types of matches as you went along, right? You'd have a cruiserweight match where you have these guys doing high-flying, crazy lucha moves, right? Then you'd have maybe a hardcore match. Then maybe you'd have like a match with Benoit and, you know, whatever. Those are the horseman type guys, right? Like the TV title, like that's a little bit different style. And the main event guys obviously had their own thing because they were all old and like not in great shape. So, but it was a different thing. Now WWE just has one style. So I think Vince McMahon, what he thinks a cruiserweight is a wrestler that weighs 205 pounds or less. Absolutely. It's not somebody that wrestles a cruiserweight style. It's like, we have this cruiserweight division because they can do different things. It's these guys basically are 205 pounds or less, so we're going to put them in this division, and they work the same matches that everybody else does. And maybe they just have
same style, finishes. As slow as all the other matches or anything like that.
It's the same thing. Rest holds, right? It's all the same. It's the same type of stuff. They don't do a ton of high-flying moves, and then like, you know, they have a couple. Maybe some guys' finishers are a little bit
more
different
risque, you know?
Because they can do those types of things, like the reverse 450 or whatever it is. And like, but Tozawa does like a senton, not a swanton, like a senton splash. Like that's like a Bubba Ray Dudley move. So like, it's not any different.
Oh my god, it is a Bubba Ray move.
It's not any different than anything else. So like, that's the problem, right? So like, yeah, and then you have the booking of it, which is these guys have stupid characters and stuff like Tozawa's with.
Titus O'Neil.
Freaking Titus O'Neil.
Whoa, we got an R-rated show now. Bring it on. Let's do this.
And then they have Noam Dar is like a whiny like bitch or whatever it is. Like I don't know.
Yes.
You know, these guys have no. You know, Alicia Fox is involved in storylines. Like who cares? Like this is ridiculous. You should just have guys fighting for the title, and then let them just go out and bust their asses and do whatever they want. And it's too bad then if the main event or mid-card or main event guys or the women can't top what the cruiserweights are doing, because if you can't
step your game up,
then you have to. Then
you shouldn't be there.
And you shouldn't be there.
Oh man, this is a new segment. We're called Shooting with the Stallion. So. Oh, it just hit me. Yeah, I agree with every single thing you've said. And at this point, correct me if I'm wrong, the WWE is signing guys just to sign them. It seems like that to you, right?
Yeah. Again, these guys, they had the Cruiserweight Classic was last summer, and then
those matches were tremendous.
I understand that there were reasons why certain guys had to win, right? Because they couldn't sign Ibushi, they couldn't sign Sabre, and then it was down to like Grand Metalik and TJP, and then Grand Metalik had to finish obligations like elsewhere, so you know. And like now he's there. He was in the finals of that tournament. He's never on TV. He doesn't, and even when he is, he loses. So why sign a guy like that? Out of I don't know what promotion he was in, if it was Mexico or something like that, right? And then he just loses all the time. Like why? And then I don't know. It doesn't. I don't understand like the point of it all. It's just a waste of money.
But these are the reasons why people don't want the WWE signing their favorite wrestlers. This is why I'm apprehensive about the Kyle O'Reilly, the Bobby Fish, and stuff like that. Because if you're gonna, or even the Adam Cole, the rumor said Adam Cole is gonna go right to the main card. That's like
really?
Yeah, that's what I kept hearing. God no, no God, no God, no God, no God, no, God no.
I think it's okay as long as when they're in NXT. If you're not in NXT, or if you get out of NXT, then it's all bets are off. Right?
Don't even get me started with what's going to happen on SmackDown once we get to SmackDown, because I got a lot of opinions about that shit.
Because when guys are in NXT, at least they get featured in some capacity. If they don't connect down there, then they just don't connect, and then they let them go. Right? Like Sami Callihan was a guy that was there. He was there for however long it was, like a year. Didn't connect.
Solomon Crow, right?
And then he whatever the reasons where he left, it was his terms or theirs. He left and he was gone. At least when they bring in guys now. They bring in guys like Rude. They bring in McIntyre. Most of these guys get featured. Even a guy like Oney Lorcan, right? Who like he wasn't necessarily featured for a while, but at least now he's getting regular matches, against guys like Atami and stuff like that. Hero is wrestling different guys like Aleister Black. Like they have guys they bring when they do something with them. And if they get over, they get over, and then they can be successful.
At least they have a chance. Is what you're saying,
right? Gargano, Ciampa, or like Rude, all these guys. Like once you get out of that and go to the main roster, or if you go right to the main roster like Mike Bennett did, then it's just
brutal.
I feel bad for like Gargano because I assume Gargano is going to be down there for a while until Ciampa comes back, which is not going to be until next year. They're going to have a long feud, whatever it is, probably for like a good chunk of 2018. When they're done with that feud, where do they go? They're probably just going to go to 205 Live if it still exists by that point, and then he's just going to wrestle on that show, and then he'll never be heard from again
because he's not going to trust Gargano to be a main event guy. Because he's
small. I watched his match last week. He was weighted at 199 was his announced weight. So he's not going to be a main event guy. He's not. I mean, he was probably best suited to stay in the tag team because they could have had a chance on the main roster, at least in the tag division. But they dissolved that, which I'm sure they're going to have a great feud when Ciampa gets healthy and comes back. But after
Vince hates tag team wrestling anyway,
and he splits up all the teams.
Right.
So he split American Alpha, he split Enzo and Cass right in the last month. So Gargano and even Ciampa, it's the same thing. Like once they're done with their feud. What are they going to do? Are they going to stay in NXT and maybe graduate to a world title type situation, which would be fine for either of them, or they're going to leave that and go to the main roster or 205 Live, and they're just going to not get anywhere because they're too small.
Right. I mean, this is everything you say is why people were looking for an alternative. That's why Impact has GFW has such a chance right now to capitalize on that. Because who do you have in the main event of GFW? You have guys like Eddie Edwards. You have guys like Moose. He's a big guy. Mm. Who else do you have?
Well, your boy.
Which one?
Alberto El Patron. There's your man. He's a
champion. All right, Alberto El Patron.
Suspended champion.
Well, I think he's unsuspended, I think
he's on like the 17th or something like that. They're just going to take him off because it's their live show, right?
But then, of course, you go to Ring of Honor and you have you have like Cody and you have Christopher Daniels and guys like that. But, you can't just rely on guys like Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns just because of how big they are. And speaking of tag teams, the Good Brothers, the Bullet Club, the Club, whatever. I mean, they're the only tag team who's been together on Raw. I can think of for the last year. Is there anybody else that's even remotely stayed together?
No, I think a lot of the other teams are new, right? So I mean, it's like the Hardys just came back at WrestleMania,
right?
The Revival just came up.
No, they're gone.
WrestleMania. So I don't. Big Show and Enzo are starting to get some momentum.
Next match was Dean Ambrose versus Cesaro, and that got 20 minutes on Raw. How many commercials was this?
I think at least 2.
At least, and stop with the whole picture-in-picture on the commercial thing drives me crazy. I appreciate it, but I'm not going to sit there and watch it because it's the size of. Never mind. I thought they had a good match though. How'd you feel about this match?
Solid.
Yeah, it was so. I know how you feel about Ambrose, and he is what he is. Ambrose is never going to be a 6-star match guy, right? He's never going to be a 5-star match guy. Is that fair to say? Like, I don't think I'll ever see Ambrose in a 5-star match.
Probably not.
Right, but you're not going to get like a 1-star match out of him. He is what he is. He's nothing if not consistent. And Cesaro was obviously very motivated, and they had a good match. And I appreciate the fact that they got 20 minutes. I thought that was a really, really good match. And then after that, you follow up with Tozawa versus Daivari for 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And then you have Nia Jax squash Mickie James and Dana Brooke.
Yeah. So I guess the other thing with that, the women's stuff, is Bayley separated her shoulder last week. She was supposed to get a title shot at SummerSlam, so they decided to have 2 triple threat matches. Sasha Banks beat Alicia Fox and Emma. And then Nia Jax defeated Mickie James and Dana Brooke. The 2 winners are facing each other next week, so it's Sasha Banks against Nia Jax. The Bayley promo, obviously, was atrocious. She comes out basically trying to thank people for all the well wishes on Twitter and how she's hurt, and she gets booed. So that worked out pretty well.
Can I give my prediction? We're going to see a Bayley heel turn in SummerSlam.
You think so?
I think Sasha wins the title. Immediate Bayley heel turn. That would give life to her character because her character is dead on arrival. When she gets booed, there's no. I would say Bayley and Sami Zayn are the 2 most natural baby faces. Is that fair to say? On both shows, you think just natural, nice, over with the crowd people. I think Bayley and Sami Zayn.
Well, Zayn, for sure, I would say, is in that category.
Well, Bayley has that, she's hugging kids, for God's sake, Joe. Yeah. She's saying prayers and eating vitamins, and she's getting booed. Because they do not, like you said, and they booked the women's division. the same way they book everything else. There's nothing different, and they don't even trust them to carry a match. They love to break ground and put a 20-minute. Who was that? It was Sasha versus Charlotte main event, right? It was like a Falls Count Anywhere, whatever it was.
Yep.
And they'll break ground, and they love to tote that they're equality and all this other bullshit. But then you just relegate them to cruiserweight style type matches, the same every week. Give them a legitimate feud, give them time to work, and don't just sign them to and don't just push the ones that suck, man. There's so much down there in NXT in the women's. When's that start? The women's show, the Mae Young Classic.
I think it's sometime this month.
So I hope, although I heard that they didn't impress and they're not going to sign a lot of those girls and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm souring on you have nothing for Mickie James. You have nothing for Dana Brooke. You have nothing for Alicia Fox, and you have nothing for Emma. So pretty much your show is Sasha Banks, Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw, and Alexa Bliss and Bayley. But you can't have an entire division and only care about 3 people. That you have the Cruiserweight division, you have an entire division, and you only care about 1 person. Was Neville even on the show?
I think he was in a segment.
There was a segment. Okay, good. I don't know. And what did you think of the main event with this?
I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, have you seen this? I don't think I've ever seen this match before.
They've all been very good, so I don't have much issue with them.
What, they're Strowman Reigns?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're going to throw a flag on Omega versus Okada wrestling this often, I think, how many times do you think we've seen Strowman and Reigns wrestle this year?
4.
Ambulance match, this match.
They had a match at Fastlane.
And
then I think they had a match at Payback as well. Strowman's won the last 3.
Okay, good. Even though, did you notice the finish of this match? I think Strowman was down for the 8 count. Didn't move. 9 count. Didn't move.
Stood up.
He stood up?
Strowman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, no, didn't Joe grabbed Roman.
Yeah,
and Strowman was still down.
Yeah.
So
are you talking about the referee stopping his count?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So he stopped the count, but Strowman didn't get up. It's a no DQ match.
Right.
That should have been a 10 count.
Correct.
Okay, I wasn't being facetious. I was legitimately asking because I watched it once or twice. So that's what. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't know why you would do that right after you do the evil Elgin spot.
The evil Elgin spot.
Yeah. That's what
Michael Elgin's evil now? Is that what you're talking about?
Evil / Elgin spot.
Evil / Elgin?
Evil dot ellipses. Evil ellipses Elgin. Anyway, I thought the match was good.
Evil versus Elgin. Is that what you're saying? That match?
Same thing.
He threw the same chair, and that chair got
the flow.
Overnighted.
I think he went back in time because of the...
went back in time?
I think it was because of the time zone difference.
McFly.
88, baby. I thought there was a lot of good on the show, and I thought there was a lot of bad. What did you think?
It's a lot of stuff on the show, then, it sounds like. There's a lot
it's
of
3 hours and 20 minutes of stuff. What did you think? I'm interested.
I mean, it's not... It's just... It's the same combination of stuff every week. There's a few things that are okay. There's a few things that are not okay. And there's a few things that I just... indifferent about, and that seems to be the same thing for Raw every week, right? It's just guys you like, guys you don't like, or things that don't happen that you want to see happen, and it just ends up being the same stuff. The Strowman Roman's main event was really good. Cesaro and Ambrose had a fine match. I'm liking the Shield stuff that they're doing with Ambrose and Rollins.
Oh, you know what? I did leave that. You're right.
I think that's good. Cruiserweights, I sounded off on that for a while. I don't need to get into that anymore. And the women's stuff, I think you said, it's just not... They're not doing enough with the angles and storylines to make people care about it. I'm all for the idea of, and this is just good for the women, of competition and trying to make it like an athletic type of thing. But at the same time, you need storylines that make sense. I mean, I want the title to be important. Everybody wants the title, but realistically, with all of the women, right, in the division, what's the angle? There is no angle, right? It's just Alexa Bliss won a title shot, and then she beat Bayley. Then they did a kind of a mini angle they kind of had an angle with Bayley about she wasn't going to use the kendo stick. She couldn't go hardcore.
They buried Bayley brutally.
Then she got buried. She lost a couple of times, right, to Alexa. And then Alexa kind of like walked off or something like that against Sasha Banks and just escaped. And then Bayley's supposed to get another title shot. So I keep thinking the storyline is going to be that Sasha was going to turn on Bayley and like that'll actually kick something off, but they never seem to get there for different reasons. Mm-hmm. Now Bayley's hurt, so they probably can't do much with it right now. But there's no like what's the story? Like Nia Jax is big and angry, and like she's kind of friends with Alexa Bliss, like we think.